Hello and welcome to my first YouTube video ever. My name is Nicole. I'm a high yoga empath and I'm in a twin flame relationship. Took me about 2 hours to press the record button on this. This is not something that I ever thought that I would do. I don't like social media. I'm very much a loner. I did have a Facebook that I discontinued about 2 years ago and haven't been on since. I even have a hard time watching the news these days. I don't do well in groups of people. Um, and so I never thought that this would be where God would lead me. In fact, I've prayed quite a bit, and He insists that I make these videos, so I'm going to start. I do not edit. I don't have any soft spiritual music playing in the background. I'm going to try to be straightforward and not throw in all of the extra spiritual mumbo jumbo that you're going to hear from everybody else, just because this is a real thing and it really does affect your life, and it's hard and it's very hard to understand. And I think that by going overboard with people who are just coming into contact with the spiritual portion of this, with the extra wording and things that people have never heard before, it makes it really hard to grasp what is actually happening. So I'm going to try to be straightforward about it and talk about the real problems and how your body feels and how your mind feels and how your life is affected by what happens in a twin flame relationship. Mine is a little bit different than most people. It is not the standard template for a twin flame relationship. It does mirror some of those things, but it's a little different, and every one of them is a little bit different. And I think that we miss quite a bit of what people are actually going through. I've done a lot of research on my own, have a hard time finding answers to what I'm looking for quite a bit. And I'm going to try to cover some of those answers. First, let me explain what I am. I am an empath, which most of you understand that I get how people are feeling. I feel it myself, whether that's physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. I understand how they're feeling. I also understand why. I can feel that coming from them, understand portions of their life that maybe they don't tell anyone about. I get that information. As a Hyoka empath, I see the things that you're hiding as well. Hyoka is an Indian word, Native American, and I'm obviously not Native American as I have blonde hair and blue eyes, but there is no term that describes what I am other than that, from what I have found. And there's really not a lot of information on that on the internet even. Basically, what I do is I can see you inside, things that you're hiding from yourself, things that cause you issues in your life, stuff that you're stuck on that maybe you don't want to see yourself. And either I will mirror that back to you, as in you'll see it in me. So you'll think I'm arrogant or argumentative or pushy, and that's something in yourself that needs to be worked on. Or basically, I'll just tell you to your face. I don't have a hard time telling people what I think the real issue is, even if they don't want to see it, which causes a lot of people to run in the other direction. They don't want to hear it, don't want to see it, don't want to change it. And so then when I say it out loud, they have a hard time even being around me. Um, this has happened my whole life. People come to me for advice, and then I talk about the situation as I see it. And typically, it's not the advice that they are wanting to hear. And it may be the truth, but they have a really hard time realizing that pretty much everything is their own fault. That's basically what this boils down to, is your issues in your life are your problem. And they're things that you can fix and change, and you just won't. You don't want to see past it. You want to be right. You want to be something. And so you're unwilling to make the changes that you need to make your life better. And so my job is to kind of poke holes in that for you. Just like if someone says, I'm an ascended master and I have nothing left to learn, and you can learn everything from me because I am done. That person needs holes poked in that egotistical mind frame, because everyone is always learning from now until forever. You constantly have things to learn about yourself and other people and your place in the universe. And to say that you have it all together is very arrogant. and egotistical and a little bit ridiculous if you really think about it. And so that's just my job, is to basically show everybody that there's a million ways to do things. There's a million answers. And a lot of times the answer is not what you think it's going to be. It's not easy. It is hard and painful. Even me praying about these videos, this is a hard, painful lesson to learn for me. I don't want to do this. I don't feel like it is okay for me to give people advice when I'm still working every single day. I am still struggling. I do not have the answers. Not all of them, anyways. Me and my twin flame are in reunion, but not in union. We work every single day, struggle with this every single day. And it is hard for me to think that God is going to allow me to help other people when I have a hard time with my own life right now. So this has been through a lot of prayer that I have decided to do this. It seems like every time lately I pray about my twin flames relationship, that the answer is making videos, which is crazy and doesn't make any sense to me, but this is what God wants me to do. So if this is my next step, this is what I will be doing. And so I guess over the next several videos, I am going to talk about the basic twin flame stuff that you're going to find online, and kind of dumb it down a little bit. I've also I've researched quite a bit because it doesn't make any sense to me. In fact, I just stumbled upon this term about a year ago. And so I have done extensive research over the last year and a half, trying to figure all this out and have pieced things together, that I think I can maybe make it a little easier on some people. I also feel like we have lost the men in this situation. Men are just now starting to open spiritually, and they're not really talking about it. And men have a hard time relating to the spiritual mumbo jumbo. They can understand the physical changes. They know how they feel. They understand that this is something that is like nothing they've ever experienced before, but they're not going to jump on the emotional bandwagon with the spiritual stuff like the women are. And so when you see men in the videos talking about it, there are very few who are really spiritually open. And it's not really something that is comfortably spoken about on the men's side of it. If you read things about the men, it's usually from a woman's point of view, or it is a man who is still struggling and still running, and they don't really have anywhere to turn. They don't have any resources. And it's really hard to do this with all the extra spiritual stuff thrown in it, because it's not something they can believe. So they're not going to Google and looking this stuff up like the women are, because they don't even know what to look up, really. And when they read it, it comes across as ridiculous, and so they're not grasping it. They will wake up eventually. The spiritual side is inevitable, but a lot of them just aren't there. And when you go to talk about it as the female, it makes them run away even more, because they think you're losing your mind. My twin flame has thought I'm dying. Every time I get sick, I am dying. I've lost quite a bit of weight. I've fluctuated up and down, and we've gone through, I have cancer. Any old thing he can come up with, he thinks I'm dying. He thinks I'm going crazy because I decided to throw the spiritual portion in his lap. I just baptized him pretty much, and he thought I was losing my mind. And he is just now, it's been like a year since I decided to talk to him about it, and he is just now at the point where he's starting to accept small portions of it. So you can imagine what he thought about me over this last year as I changed rapidly and adopted this spirituality that I never had before. It really was hard for the both of us, because I didn't understand why he wasn't supporting me and understanding me and feeling the same things I was. And he thought that I was going crazy because now all of a sudden I feel like I've got all these answers and all this magical Harry Potter crap is happening. And he really thought that I was going off the deep end. So we're just to the point that he is going through a spiritual awakening right now. And we've realized that there's not any resources for him. They're not really geared towards him. It's hard to listen to. It's hard to get through an article. I'm really like filtering quite a bit of the information I send him, because if it gets too far into the spiritual portion of it, he's not grasping what it's saying, or it just doesn't resonate with him. And so I'm trying to find articles that are more geared towards him, and I'm very, 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 very limited by what is available. I found a couple of video blogs of men who are kind of going through this on their own, but it's not really describing this in a way that men can relate to. So that's what I'm going to cover. My first video, I'm going to talk about the stages, as usual, what you're going to find online, any old place, the basic stages. I'm also going to incorporate some of my own relationship into this, so you can see this from my point of view, because me and my twin have stayed together through the whole thing. We haven't had a long period of separation, which has made things different for us. We've had different things that I have not been able to find online as far as the dynamics in our relationship go. We have unbelievable sexual experiences that really aren't covered, that don't really connect to what the twin flame information is saying, because most of those people are not together physically, they are separated. So what we have had together has been completely different than the things that I have found online, and I've had to kind of adopt some of the stuff that I found, and then pull other things in from here and there and try to piece this together for myself. So we'll cover the basic things. I'm going to try to explain everything in layman's terms. If there's questions you have or comments about my video, please feel free to leave me those. I'm happy to take any suggestions on things you think that would be good to be covered. If you disagree with me, you can leave that there too. I'm sure you will. I guarantee I'm going to say some things that people don't want to hear. That's just how it goes for me. So if you don't like it, that's fine. You can leave that down there too. Probably won't answer you, but it's open. Say whatever you need to say. I plan on setting up some form of email contact at some point in this. I'm being pushed to do one-on-one things with people, no matter how much I think that that is going to be uncomfortable for myself. That's what God's leading me to do. So I can't say no anymore. My life is, I need to get back on track, and it starts here. This is what God says. So this is where I am starting. When I say God too, you can call him whatever. I don't care if you call him Bob. It doesn't matter to me. Our creator, spirit, higher being, I'm going to call him God. I grew up Christian, not necessarily believing everything that goes along with being a Christian, but that's how I think of our higher power, is God. And it's a name for me, and I'm going to use it over and over and over again. Please don't be offended by that. Please don't be offended by the fact that I'm going to call myself a Hyoka empath. There is no other word. I mean, I can call myself the crap talking empath, but there's really no label for what I am. So I'm going to say that. It's not to be offensive to anybody. I know I'm not Native American, so I get why there would be some possessiveness over that word, but it has nothing to do with that. I just don't know what else to call myself. So please don't be offended. I'm just going to say kind of what I want to say, what God leads me to say, and hopefully that these videos help people get unstuck from where they're at. Maybe I can say something to shake you loose and help you get forward on your spiritual path and your twin flame path and closer to union. Whatever God needs me to do, that's what I'm going to try. So get ready for the next video. I'll go through things as detailed as I can, offer links at the bottom if you want to look some things up. But I appreciate you watching. Thanks.